I'm doing this. Okay, cool. We're starting a podcast. We, as in you and me. I'm going to light a little bit of incense. As you get to know me, you will learn that I'm very sensitive to smells. And so I'm extremely particular about the scents that I put on my body and that I have in my house. And most incense, I didn't light it. Most incense is actually too strong for me. And so I experiment a lot because I really love it. I love the ritual of burning incense. And I recently found, that didn't work, so I'm going to put this in the candle. I recently found this incense called Mellow Palo Santo. And it's really nice. And I've been burning it in the morning and just when it feels right. So anyway, creating a little ritual of this podcast experience. Hello, my name is Samantha Abrams, and this is I'm Just Listening, the podcast. I am reporting to you live from my new home in Austin, Texas. I just moved here a little over a week ago, which feels wild. And so I'm sitting inside of a new reality, and I feel like every day I'm just like, whoa, okay. I have been thinking about launching a podcast for probably 2 years. And it's just been really cool to kind of witness my process with it, because at first I was like obsessed with having all the things. Like, I have this microphone because I ordered it last year. In fact, I have two, and I have two tripods because I was like, oh, well, I'm going to need to do interviews. And like, I had all these things. And then I attempted to learn how to use like a mixer so that I could put the audio in GarageBand and and honestly, I was not ready. I wasn't in the space for it. And I was putting all the stuff, like the details that actually weren't as important. I was kind of putting those first, which I'm noticing is something that I do. And I love that for me. Like, I'm someone who can be very professional, and it really just comes from caring, like I love when things are presented really nicely. I love design. I like, when things are like put together, etc. And that same part of me definitely can maybe obsess about the details in a way that's not always necessary in order just to like do the thing. And so in starting this here in my living room on my iPhone with the microphone I had already, and like this, and I'm pointing to just this little setup that I've created. I'm probably going to upload the video for this so you can watch it. You don't have to. And even just like, I'm going to start just uploading to Spotify, and I don't think I'm going to edit the video. I don't think I'm going to edit the audio. And I'm just letting it be what it is right now, and let it evolve. And if I love it and I want to make it more quote unquote professional, I can. But, maybe you know me, maybe you don't, but there's an important thing that I've done in my life, which I founded and grew a nationwide natural foods company called Emmy's Organics. And I started it in 2009 with my ex-partner, Ian, who I'm sure I'll talk about. He is an important person in my life and someone who is very much still in my life. But it's like, we started that company so fucking scrappy. Like, and I'm often reflecting on that experience because like we grew it for 12 years and we sold it. And then I was still involved for 2.5 years. So I was involved in the growth and the trajectory of this company that I started from nothing for 14 years. And I often reflect back on that experience, and I'm often kind of taking the wisdom of that into now. And there's something about starting before you're ready, starting when things are imperfect, starting and just taking baby steps. Because it's like when you make it more than it needs to be, then you're setting yourself up for this standard that maybe isn't what you want or feel comfortable with right away. And a lot of times when people ask me for business advice, I think the first thing is like, can you start this idea as a hobby first? Like, can you take as much pressure off of it as possible so that you can really make the best decisions for the thing, whether it's a product or a service or a creative project. Because as soon as you say, make things more official or raise money, you're then putting more pressure on other things where then your decision process for the company or the project itself is not as focused. And so in starting Scrappy and starting chill, like this is a chill podcast, you guys. This is chill. This is me being chill. I'm able just to like play and have fun, like I'm not out here renting a studio, even though I have friends here who do have one and I've totally thought about it. I'm just letting it be easy right now. And that's definitely been sort of a big theme for me in my life currently. So welcome to a chill podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm wearing sweatpants right now, but I put on a nicer top that I just got recently. I have only unpacked one suitcase of my clothes, so I've been wearing like the same like sweats and like waffle tees every day. And that's just where I'm at. I'm really letting myself land in this home really slowly. And I'm proud of myself because, again, I kind of tease and call myself a bit of a hardo sometimes because like I have an ability to execute really well. And I love that for me. But also sometimes I like want things yesterday, And as far as like decor and like unpacking, that in the past has been something that like I've really like rushed myself through just trying to get to the other side of like being somewhere. And honestly, I like already feel like I'm at home, and I want the decor and like all of those decisions to come from a really grounded place, because this home is my sanctuary. It's my temple. And this is something that I have been wanting for a long time. I have been partially nomadic for the last 3 years. And what I mean by that is I've been living in furnished spaces that are owned either by people that I know or people who I've met, where I didn't have a lease. It was just like I could kind of come and go as I want. And also the owners could potentially use the space if they needed to also, which didn't happen very much. But I've definitely been yearning for a space that's just mine. And it feels so good. This journey to home is actually really interesting. And I don't know how deep I want to go into the story, but I left my old life. I was living in Ithaca, New York. I was still working for the Emmys, the company I started, still with my partner, and went through a lot of inquiry around my life and what I wanted. And this was a few years after really starting my own kind of inner work. I'm someone who I've been drawn to personal growth and spirituality like my whole life. And honestly, that is something that's just all mine. I'm definitely like the first person in my family to do the kind of work that I've done and really like explore my inner landscape and do a lot of like deep trauma healing and other things. But the personal growth that I did in my like early 20s was amazing. I was super into landmark education. I was in that work for a long time and it's amazing. It was perfect for me at the time, but it didn't address it's so into like high integrity, like doing it no matter what. Like I don't even know like all the phrases, but so it really fueled me. I mean, like it fucking had me grow a multi-million-dollar company. But at a point I burned myself out, and I think I was burned out for a lot longer than I realized. And it was in 2019 that I really sort of had this like reckoning with the state of my relationship with my body and my energy and all this stuff. And so it had me start to explore some different type of things. And, I mean, burnout for me was such a important wake up call to start to do things differently. And it in me really wanting, I knew I needed to do things differently. And that really set me on a new path. And, I got to this point, where I had done some pretty deep healing in my body and kind of just coming to terms with a lot of pain that I experienced when I was young and all this stuff. And this was like coming out of the pandemic kind of. And I was just like, I don't know, all these things kind of came into question. My relationship with my partner, living in Ithaca, New York, like a really amazing place with a beautiful community. And I just kept feeling this like yearning for something different. And also just my role in the company, because we sold it in 2021. And I think I knew before that this wasn't going to be my forever, but I didn't really know what that was going to look like. And anyway, that just set me off on a lot of change. And I packed up my car and I drove with my friend JT. He drove me to Denver in my car, and we hung out in Denver, and then he flew back. And then I went on to LA, where I lived for 3 years. And I bring up JT because I called him like a month, or I don't even know how many, maybe a month ago. And I was like, hey, do you want to do that trip again, except drive with me from LA to Austin? I said take me because he drove the whole way when we went from Ithaca to Denver, and then he drove the whole way from LA to Austin. And I'm so grateful for that guy. He's like, we've had such a special friendship, and we just like can talk and talk and talk and like go super deep and also have fun and chill. And I'm just so grateful for friends like that. And just like such a beautiful gift for him to kind of usher me into this life. So yeah, but during those 3 years in LA, the first year I was obsessed with finding a home, like a place to call my own. And it's really because I'd never not had that. I had had this sort of stable life in Ithaca for so long, and the idea of not having a home base, right, that was like mine, I didn't like understand that. And for a whole year, I worked my ass off trying to find a home for myself. And it never worked out. And it was so interesting. I had this real estate agent, Leah Carr, who I don't think lives in LA anymore, but she was helping me find rentals. And we would go and look at things, and it was just like, and like, I was like, nope, cause I knew that I know what a yes feels like in my body, and that's what I was looking for. And so I kept trusting that. And it was just a no, a no, a no, a no, over and over. And at a point, it clicked, and it was like, oh, I've never been this free. Like I was shifting into consulting for Emmys, so working a lot less. I didn't have a home. And so I was like, oh, I'm meant to like go and like experience things. And it was like a big surrender. And this is the end of 2023 that I put all my things in storage, and I went to Costa Rica, as one does. And I lived there for like a couple of weeks, and I went back east for Thanksgiving, and then I went back to do a training there. And yeah, it kind of set this tone for the following year, 2024, which was, I think I traveled like every single month. And I went and studied with different teachers and did different programs, and just like said yes to travel invitations. Like when you grow a company from nothing, and for a long time, like you're responsible for doing like everything, we were just so devoted to the company. And that just meant that I had to be a no to, friends going on trips and inviting me, or other experiences like that. And it did not at all occur as a chore, like I was just, this is what I'm doing. And so all of a sudden I became someone who could be a yes. And I fucking said yes. And I like did so many cool things. I'm sure I'll talk about some of them on this podcast. And anyway, yeah, last year I just like the yearning for home, it started again. And I will say though that in saying yes, in traveling, I was able to find home in myself in a way that I never had before, and like really caring for myself on a deeper level. And that was really the medicine of that time, because it was like, I actually don't need a super curated, like comfy place, like that is all mine, like to feel at home in myself, like that was sort of the external things that I thought I needed. And, over that time, that year plus, it was like, actually, like I can be okay, and like I know how to travel and like make myself really comfortable. I know like what things I like to take with me that help me feel at home. And I know how to care for myself on a level where like, if I need to slow down, if I need to cry, if I need to just like lay in bed a little bit, like I can do that. So, it's been such a beautiful journey to like let that go completely and then allow it to come naturally. And when I say naturally, I mean, I just knew it was time for this. And, yeah, it's been so amazing. I've visited Austin so many times, I guess over the last year plus. Yeah, I think the beginning of 2024 was actually the first time that I came here, like purely for fun. I've come to Austin a lot in prior years to visit Whole Foods corporate offices when we were selling Emmys into Whole Foods and doing the category reviews and the things that you do in the food industry when you sell a product into grocery stores. And I always liked it. And then I started coming here for fun, and for like training and I don't know, I have so many people here that I really love. And I always have been curious about Austin as a place to live, especially because after that first visit, I had this amazing time. My friend Nina was like, "Do you want to meet me in Austin in January of 2024?" And I was like, "Yes," because I was a yes. And we rented a house, and we just had all these amazing like synchronicities that happened. And we went to this beautiful event with women and like just bumped into people. And it was just this like really magical weekend. And then I came back to LA, and I was working with a coach at the time who was also an astrologer. And we looked at my astrocartography, and I learned that Austin is on my Venus line. And the Venus line it's very receptive. It's very feminine. It is very synchronistic. And when I read about that and had that experience, I was like, wow. And every time that I came to Austin after that, I kind of noticed this similar feeling. It was like, it just felt good, you know? And I think that it's, when you start to become more aware of your body's sensations, it's really interesting just to notice how you feel in different places. And yeah, I really like how I feel here. And I love that I am able to make a decision about my life based on that, which is pretty big. And also, like, I felt so wanted here. Like, the people who I know, there's friends that I have here that I don't even know that well yet. But to just feel the like celebration and like the wanting when I talk about possibly moving here just felt really, really good. And this house, it's so funny. Like I just mentioned how in 2023, I was like working my ass off trying to find a house, like a house, an apartment, whatever. I was like, I need to look at places. I need to see at least like 2 every single day. Like I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to do it, right? It's up to me. And this is an energy that I'm going to probably talk about a lot because I find it very fascinating. But, it's like we hear in like personal growth and like spiritual jargon, right? It's like, you got to show up for the thing. And, it's like, do it no matter what, very landmark education. And that's what I did. and nothing happened. And then it's just so interesting that this house was literally just like handed to me. I didn't have to look at all. And there's even more details to the story where like I've been, okay, this whole summer, I was like dealing with some health issues, and I want to do a whole episode kind of about health and vitality and kind of my whole journey with that. But when I felt well enough to go travel, I came to Austin. That was the first place I came to. And I assisted an intensive with one of my teachers, John Wineland here. And it was sort of a sacred intimacy and sexual polarity training or intensive. I never know what to call them. I'm like, it's not a retreat. People call them retreats. And I'm like, we're doing like really deep work. And it's very confronting. And I'll share more about that work, I'm sure, in another episode. But I came for that. Again, felt the like Austin magic. And on my flight back to LA, I was like, I'm just going to look on Zillow and see what's going on here. And I saw this house that was like so perfect. And it had things in it or around it that I had kind of always dreamed of. Like it had a casita, which I've always dreamed of having my own like little casita or like Shakti shed in my yard. And it had a cowboy pool, and it had a very loud decor. It was like really a choice, but it wasn't bad. But I will say that some of the rooms had wallpaper in them. Anyway, I applied for the house and I didn't get it. And I remember when I applied, I was like, I'm so let go about this. I'm so chill. Like, if it doesn't happen, then it obviously wasn't meant to be, and I'm just going to stay in LA. But when I didn't get it, I actually felt really, really sad. And it showed me, one, how ready I was for home, and two, how the idea of moving to Austin was like really exciting. And so I like kind of grieved that for a moment. And then I came back a month later and assisted another sacred intimacy, sexual polarity type of training with some other teachers. And I stayed with my friend Amy the night before we were starting. And she was like, let me just show you. Because our friend Sarah, her mother-in-law, bought this investment property. And when she told me about it originally, I was like, yeah, like I really got to be excited about the house. And I was just like assuming that I wasn't going to like it. And so anyway, we take a walk and I'm just like looking at the houses on the street and I'm like, I just need a house like this. And I kind of fling my arm out and Amy's like, that's the house. So anyway, it was available. It's like flexible. It's furnished, which at first I was like, no, I want to furnish my own place. But I'm actually so grateful, and it's so perfect that this space is furnished, because one, the furniture is not bad. Two, it's just like I can live and be in here right now, and like I'm zhuzhing, and I probably replace things here and there, but we got time, What am I in a rush to do? I've already got some crystals out, and if you're watching the video, that plant was here and it is fake. I still need to go get real plants, and I'm hoping to get some like cuttings from friends too. But I have this magical yard and I have a pantry. I'm like, if there's anything I'm the most excited about for some reason, it's a pantry. I'm like, I'm going to order so many bulk herbs. I'm going to make herbal infusions so hard. Yeah, I'm really excited to continue to make this space really beautiful and to continue on this podcast journey. I'm currently in the midst of challenging myself to posting on my Instagram feed every single day. And I'm on I haven't posted today, but yesterday was day 53. And it's been really cool. For a long time, I held myself back from posting on Instagram, even though it's something that I've wanted for a long time. I actually have this video of myself from, I think, 2022, where I was like sharing with a feminine embodiment group that I was in. I recorded a video of myself and I was saying how I've had this like yearning and desire to share more. And I didn't know what that looked like. And that's really maintained. And I've definitely been someone who's like shown up on social media and then disappeared and then come back. And it's like, what am I doing? Like, what is this for? Like if I'm going to like fully step into coaching or teaching, for example, then like all of my content has to be about that. And I've really loosened up around that. I actually did a mastermind this fall that was kind of all about that. And I've just allowed myself to have fun and play a lot more. And it's been really cool because I've like, I can't say fully, but like mostly let go of just the whole like analytics and like performance of things. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I'm just creating to create. And it feels really good. And it's going to evolve and change. And like who I am continues to evolve and change. And that's kind of how this podcast feels. It's like, this is just something I've been wanting to do. And like, I just want to have fun. Can we just learn how to have fun again? I'm saying this to me and the professional part of me. And I feel like that's really been a part of my journey as like over the last couple of months. It's like, let's just play and have fun. Not everything that we do has to be for like forward momentum, or like bettering ourselves or for our careers or whatever it is. It's like we can do things just because they're fun or interesting or even scary or like just make us curious, or just because we want to learn them, like not for anything. And I definitely can get stuck in that where it's like, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this so that it's going to give me this. And I'm definitely just honoring like creating to create, experiencing to experience, learning just to learn. Like we're alive. Like why not? So this is very much a celebration of that. Creating just to create, sharing just to share, regardless of what happens. If I love this, it could be something else. If I don't have to continue, So I'm saying that just to give anyone else permission to start before you're ready. Start before things are like the circumstances are perfect. Start with things being scrappy. Believe me, I have done this before. Start scrappy. And so that's this. If you're listening, thank you for being here. If you're watching, thank you for being here. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you and so much more to come. Bye.